Hello everybody, welcome back to another episode of Shokame Plays, and today is going to be a bit of a short one, since this video is kind of a work in progress preview of a chess variant me and my friend are working on. Now, as you can see, this looks absolutely nothing like how the board should look. It's almost as if a small child has managed to break into your home, mangle all your pieces into some weird meat cube, and then force you to play with it. But I mean, it basically is just that. But anyway, let's get started. The first thing that you're gonna want to know is it's called Confusion Chess. You can probably see where the name is derived from, and you can probably see that it's not that creative considering the fact that this board looks worse than, I don't know, let's say you when you wake up. For starters, I will be putting this into the description of the video. It tells you where the pieces are placed, how they move, and a few openings that we've thought of. A total of 4. Now, if you see any country or place's name, that does not mean anything. Not trying to start a war. Simply just putting a random country or place into the name to make it seem more like chess. Anyway, that out of the way. Let's start off with where you place it. 4 pawns in the middle. Yep, got that. 2 on each side, second row. Yup. Okay, the queen starts in the corner, square that is opposite colour to where the piece usually goes. I'll have to change that. So usually the queen would be on white if you're white and would be on black if you're black, but instead it's swapped around. The knight goes on the square next to the pawns on the second row, 1 per side. Okay, boom, bam, bop, bada bop, boop, nothing. So the rook goes next to the king and queen, 1 per side, boom, boom, done. The bishop goes in between the rooks and the pawns, 1 per side, first row. Boom, bam. Now the piece rules. The pawn, on its first move, is allowed to move diagonally once or twice. So you can go whoop, or you can go whoop. No, you're not allowed to move backwards. That was simply just to show you it could go 1. It is also not allowed to go whoop, 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 and go straight over there. Doesn't really work like that. It can jump over other pawns on the first move. Promoting is unchanged. Just keep in mind, when you do promote, no. If you promote to a bishop, it may not jump over other pawns for no reason. If you promote to a rook, it cannot jump over other pawns. If you promote to a queen, same thing. You understand, you catch my drift. You're picking up what I'm putting down. The queen is the exact same as usual, other than where she's placed. The king cannot move diagonally. No. But it is allowed to move 2 squares per turn anyway, unless it's, of course, outside of the board. That would be pretty stupid. The knight, same rules as normal. It's already good enough. It can jump. Need I say any more? The goddess of all unholy jumpness, if you will. And the rook. This one's might seem a bit big, but most of this is just about castling. It can move 1 square diagonally. No, you cannot go, oh, I have my rook here. Whoop, whoop. Nope. If you move diagonally, that is your turn. That is your move. Only allowed to move 1 square diagonally. You can do it any time you want, but you can't do it twice per move, and you can't move after you do it. It takes your whole move, obviously, like most things. When castling, the king and the rook must be unmoved. Let's pretend that they're over here, alright? Everything's like around them. This space is not blocked, okay? You might be wondering, well, why do you need 2 squares? How are you going to castle? They're right up against each other. I'll show you. Alright? So the king jumps over the rook. Boing. What's next? Ah, the rook jumps over the king. Boing. Now you might notice here, if it was still there, you could not castle. It works just as it would as if you were castling 0-0. Now, there's one quick thing you should know. Well, what if this entire space is open and I've got my king and my rook like this? Well, it would be pretty useless, because then this is castling. Don't like that? Womp womp, it's just how the game works. Can't call it unfair, you're given a second rook for a reason. Now, bishops are allowed on their first move only, to jump over pawns. Pawns only. Now you may be wondering, oh, if it's like this, I guess I'm just blocked off. Nope, you can go like that. You could jump, if there were 70 of them lined up in like a 71 square board, you could technically jump over all of them. This thing is better than everyone at the Olympics, including a literal horse. Now, here are some openings. Again, any country names or words. Not trying to start a war, not trying to do anything. It's just to make it sound like a chess move. Now, the Malaysian defense. If you're white or black, you're given different sets. Basically the same thing. You're moving the same pieces. It's just in different spots. So for white, pawn e2. Okay, we've got my e2 pawn right here. And it goes here. Then this goes here, and this goes here. As you can see, your pawn is protected. And your horse is protecting it. Your horse is also protected. And all these three are locked away, safely kept, under the ground, just like Des, W.D. Gaster, and none other than Undyne in the bunker. If you do not get that reference, maybe go play through the entirety of Deltarune and come back to me. Now, the neutral push. As you can see here, just a quick little tidbit. I have rated, me and my friend have rated every one of these that we've done so far. We think this one's probably the best. 7 out of 10, low risk, high defense. Pretty good. The neutral push. Let's move all these back here. Whoa. That was not my move. Please don't eat your own piece again. Okay, let's see here. Bishop f1 goes to c4. Bishop f1 goes to c4. Is this correct? Yes. Bishop f1 goes to c4. Yay! Now, let's see here. Knight to c2 goes to a3. Knight at c2 goes to a3. I guess it could also go there. Either way's fine. You just want to protect your bishop. And then finally, you go pawn e2 to e4. Pawn e2 to e4. Now, what you're hoping is for your opponent to copy you. And by copy you, I mean go like this. And at this point, if they go here, if they go here, actually no, that's with the wrong knight. If they go here or here, you should just trade. Not going to do you any harm. Yes, they get a pawn, you get a pawn. You're both on equal footing now. Just one thing probably would want to know. If they take your pawn and you take their pawn, they take, you take, you've now got these in the middle. It's pretty good. Doesn't do any bad. Does you quite a lot of good. Rated at 8 out of 10. Easy to play, strong control. Now the intermediate one. This one is not as good. Works best on lower ranked players, novices, or beginners. That is ranked on how it would be in ELO. So like 300 below beginner, and then like 600 below novice. Right? The Schlieffen offense. Of course, that one comes from my friend. I have no clue what that could possibly mean. I think it's German. So, bishop f1. Real quick, let's just move all these boys back. So, bishop f1. Okay, kind of a repeating pattern here, to d3. Bishop f1. I'm sorry. Right, okay, that does work. I confused myself there. Now let's see. Pawn g2. Just to let you know. This one was tested in an actual match. The other two didn't need to because they were mostly defense moves. So, here. Then I actually know this one. You put your rook here, here, and it's checkmate. Pretty useful. In case you didn't know, notations in chess, you'd use a plus for a check and a pound sign. Yes, it's not called a hashtag, it's called a pound sign for checkmate. Now let's move this all back once again. Give black another pawn. And finally, we've got the Japanese trick. No, that doesn't mean anything. It's just a random country. It's combining the Malaysian defense and the Schlieffen offense. The only reason why we said Japanese is because, hey, what's a country in Asia? Japan. Okay, Japan it is. So you start with the Malaysian defense. So you do just as you would in the Malaysian defense. Okay, you go like this. And now what you are hoping for is a very specific circumstance, right? Where after you do this move, they move this here. And now what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to move this here. If they take, absolutely beautiful. Wait a minute. Right, okay. Then you move here. Alright, something along these lines. And let's just hope they move forward. Wait. No. Okay, this one, pretty hard to replicate off by heart. You would definitely need some sort of map on how to do this. It was a very specific circumstance, but if you get it into the right gaps, you will notice where to move your knight. Because I imagine if you're in intermediate, you're an intermediate player, which would be 1200 and below. So from 1200 to 600, which is quite a big gap. 600, so you times it by 2. Anyway, that is going to be all for today's video. I hope you had a great time, and I hope you're interested in this. Just keep in mind, I am going to be putting this in the bottom. Chess Tools is a free board you can use to set up whatever you want on it. This is going to be in the description, and also my friend's Discord username, as well as mine, is going to be in the description. Anyway, see you in the next one, and have a good day.